99 days away from the kickoff to the NFL season. Yes, folks, we are in double digits now, counting down to when the Eagles begin their title defense, with Cowboys coming to Philly, getting things going with a division rivalry. As we welcome you to NFL Live, I'm Hannah Storm. A tremendous football brain trust with us today. We got Louis Riddick, Peter Schrager, Booger McFarland. Gents, let's start with the defending champs. The Eagles lost some key pieces on the defensive side of the ball this season. Milton Williams and Josh Sweat each signed with new teams, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson was traded. But they paid Saquon, signing him to a 2-year, $41 million extension, making him the highest-paid running back in the history of the NFL. They also signed All-Pro linebacker Zach Bond to a 3-year deal. And Kevin Patullo will be replacing Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator. Patullo spent the last 4 seasons as the Eagles passing game coordinator and held the title of associate coach the last 2 seasons. New on NFL Live, he was asked if that offense would look different this fall.
So I think really when you say different, I think it's going to be like, what do our players do best, like it's been? And then from there, we just expand upon it. Hey, we're really good at this. Let's bring this to the table and try this and see where we can take it. And I think really when you look at just our staff as a whole, you know, we've added some new coaches, so they bring some other layers to it too, and then the knowledge of what they have from their background. So I think as we go forward, as we build this thing together as a staff, you know, you'll see some new wrinkles here and there, but more so it's just kind of building on what our players do best.
And here's the thing, having new play callers, that's nothing new for Jalen Hurts. Patullo, who was an associate head coach, well, this will be his 12th different play caller since he started college back in 2016. And for Hurts, it's his 6th different since entering the NFL in 2020. Despite this, he has the 8th most touchdowns in this span and has the 5th best winning percentage of any quarterback. So, Peter, to what extent do you think he will have to adjust again?
That's a wild stat. 12 different play callers since college, 6th new play caller since joining the NFL. And yet you look at Kevin Patullo's resume. In recent years, he has made a steady climb. He started off with the New York Jets, where he was an assistant coach. Then he went to the Colts, and then he was, of course, with the Eagles all these years. So those Colts and Eagles years, who was he working with? He was working with Frank Reich and Nick Sirianni. And I said, you know what? I know it's the middle of the day. He's at Stanford as their interim coach. I texted Frank Reich this morning. I go, give me something to tell the Eagles fans. Give me something to tell the audience about Kevin Patullo other than a guy who's in a baseball cap and the shadow on his face and talking in generic coach speak. Here's from Frank Reich earlier today, texting me. Really smart, but has no ego. He's hyper organized. He's got strong conviction, and he's an amazing collaborator and teammate. Look, Kevin Patullo is no stranger to Jalen Hurts. They've been in the same building for the last 4 years, and he's no stranger to Sirianni. They go back to their time in Indianapolis together. This is different than hiring from the outside or building an entirely new offense around Jalen Hurts' skills. This is, hey, we're trying to keep this as consistent as it is. And Louis, as you know, in a case like Jalen Hurts, you want to keep the trains on the tracks because last year ended on such a high note.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I think the number one factor here is the fact that Kevin is no stranger to this building. He's no stranger to the offensive meetings. He's no stranger to Jalen Hurts. And quite honestly, the glue that's supposed to keep this all together, quite honestly, is the head coach, who he obviously has ultimate familiarity with Nick Sirianni. So that's how this should not get off the tracks. And I think one of the most important things that he said that leads you to the belief that, you know, he realizes the same thing, is the fact that he said, hey, look, I'm here to really just put our players in position to do what they do best. And I think what he's referring to is, like, think about last year, how their offense evolved. What did they do best last year for the better part of the season? They captured a line of scrimmage, and Saquon Barkley went off and almost had a historic season had they allowed him to go ahead and break the rushing record. That's what they did. They realized what their strengths were. As Adam Schefter likes to say all the time, Stoutland U was in full effect, meaning Jeff Stoutland, the Hall of Fame offensive line coach, had all those guys playing great up front, and everyone just fed off of that. I expect it to be a lot of the same in 2025.
And no doubt about it. And I love how we look at Kevin and talk about his prowess as a play caller. Here's the thing. I don't care if me, Schrager, Louis Riddick, I don't even care if Hannah Storm was calling plays. Here's the one thing that we know. is that the offensive line is really, really good. We know that the quarterback is really good at running the football. We know that you have Saquon Barkley in the backfield. It doesn't take a genius to put the offense together around that. It's going to stop and start with their ability to control the line of scrimmage and run the football. And then you build off of that with the quarterback run game, the play action pass, and some little wrinkles that every offensive coordinator comes in. This is no different than any business in the NFL. Anytime you get someone new in charge, they always want to add their own little touch so they can say it's their offense. I suggest that Kevin's going to do that. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, they are going to run the football and play action pass and take shots down the field to their big play wide receivers. It was successful last year, and I think it'll be successful again this season.
Yeah, dance with what brung you. No reason for wholesale changes there. We got to show you, because you guys have been talking about Saquon, this amazing craftsmanship of this window above a transom. Look at that. That's the reverse leap